She's such a cool character. I was given such a gift coming into this franchise in that way, you know? It's always a gift to be able to join something that you grew up watching. I was a fan of Scream, and I grew up watching the movies and admiring these actors, and then being able to step in and act alongside them is surreal, but then also like having a little part of this story and coming in with a character that is related to one of the OGs is insane. It's incredible. And she's also, I would say, not the typical final girl, you know? And so I enjoy that. I enjoy that darkness, and I enjoy getting to play such a complex character that divides people. You know, some people are like really into her, and some people are like unsure because they don't know what's gonna happen with her. They don't know if they like her. They don't know if she's gonna turn. Like, it's all of these things that I personally enjoy. I was given a lot of the material, you know, in the script. Sam is written so well, and she has a whole backstory because there's 25 years of movies that she can draw from, and of history of the fandom and how this franchise has grown that belongs to her, that is in her in some way, because her father was the origins of it all. So in a way, that gives her a lot of weight, that gives her a lot of like a heavy burden to carry, which already makes her different, like from the start. Most final girls are quote unquote good girls, and Sam is not. In New York, in the chaotic and like bustling city of New York, danger is around every corner. And so I think it makes it that much more suspenseful, because everywhere that they go, at every corner, and in the subway, on the streets, in parks, wherever they are, there's a lot of people, and like anyone can be Ghostface. That's what keeps people coming back to this franchise, that it's always someone different. So it just the city feels more dangerous. Matt and Tyler are not like removed like sometimes directors are. They're like fully part of the group. We hang out all the time. I don't know if it's because it's two of them that they feel like more organized and we can like actually hang out and go out and have dinner. But they're also just like the coolest people, and I think they cherish the time that we have together and that we spend together. And they're friends. You know, it just feels like we're making a movie with friends.
New York adds an element of agency and higher octane level of pace that vastly exceeds maybe the other films, just by virtue of the lifeblood of what New York City is. It's a very fast-moving, very high-intense sort of locale that I think perfectly embodies like what the sixth installment of Scream is and should be. I have to imagine the overwhelming amount of excitement and exuberance directed entirely to having Kirby make an appearance you have to want to appeal and excite fans enough to not only consider but actually follow through in bringing back a questionably fated character like Kirby, because I think it was obviously ambiguous for a reason. We brought in Kirby only, to me, speaks to how dedicated this movie, this production, Radio Silence, Six Scream in general is to making sure that the fans have a good time. Matt and Tyler make it fun to be an artist. I think moreover than working with them deliberately on set, it's the moments even leading up to filming where I felt like I could ask them anything about the script, about their process, about what we were maybe to expect when we got to Montreal, that allow me to feel safe and comfortable collaborating once we actually get here. They are absolutely artist first, and they make sure that the process is both understandable and productive as possible. I could speak highly about them for hours, but whatever instruction they give you on set or whatever direction that they have for you, it's always moving the needle forward. I'm always feeling like I'm getting better and I'm closer to Chad every time I speak to them. So for what it's worth, I think they're great at their jobs.
One of the things that we did is we wanted to make this a movie that is about people living their lives in New York, not New York.
Not the tourist version.
Yeah, so we were like,
Yeah.
this isn't about going to the Statue of Liberty and Empire State Building. This is about people living their lives in a giant city where there's millions of people. And how does that energy affect it, especially in contrast to a small, sleepy suburb like Woodsboro? There's just a relentlessness and a kind of rawness and a sort of up all night thing, that we always gravitate towards. We love survive the night movies. We love movies that just kind of start, go, 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 and then when it's over, you kind of exhale and take a deep breath. And that was something that us, Guy, Jamie, William, Paul, we all wanted to like go into this with. There's no off ramps. There's no slowdowns. It's really, it's just a. It's I hate calling movies a ride, but it's a ride.
This movie finds the four survivors. It takes place shortly after the events of Scream 5, and it finds all of them, I think, struggling to deal with, and in their own unique ways, the events of the last movie. And we loved the idea that this story was set right on the heels of the previous one, so that we could really explore how each of these characters is navigating or not navigating, refusing to navigate the experience that they had in the past. And it finds them all in a big city, hopefully, surrounded by an energy that will help them move on and deal with all they have to deal with.
In this one, the core four was that kind of ingredient for us, where it was like, cool, this really gets to be about these characters, their relationship, how they're dealing with the past, how they're working together to get through this current ordeal. And, just to say it, the actors who play the core four have become really close friends of ours. And so watching that relationship between them and with all of us together kind of evolve over the course of both movies is something just really special that I don't think we were expecting, and that I think you feel when you're watching the movie.
The care and approach that Matt and Tyler have to this project, you can tell that all they want to do is do justice to every previous Scream film that was made. And I think that's why this last film did so well, is because that did translate. That love and that care that Matt and Tyler have for what Wes created is so prevalent in their films. The process working with Matt and Tyler, it feels very supportive, very collaborative, very loving. Again, you're walking into something that's so developed. And as an actor, you want to stay true to that. You want to stay true to the history. So you don't want to touch anything. You're nervous. Like, tell me where to go, tell me where to stand. I don't want to mess anything up. I want to blend seamlessly into what's already been created. But the way that they approach this is, no, we trust you. We vetted you. We put you through the ringer to get this job, and we trust you now. So give us your input. Let's work on this character. Let's build this character. And that's so special. On set, they make you feel like you have all the time in the world to nail your performance. So that pressure that's always there as an actor to really nail it, it just gets lifted just a little bit, because you know that they're going to give you the time to get what you want.
The last Scream that we did was probably the greatest time I've ever had on a set. Just truly the most wonderful, sweetest cast, crew. So I think that anytime you get to work with people that you love, you're very, very lucky. I feel very, very fortunate. But then two, I came into this job knowing it was just gonna be a good time and it wasn't gonna feel like work, which is really, really cool. I was a huge Kirby fan as well. I watch it and I was one of those people, I didn't even know that it was a thing online or within the community that, oh, Kirby's still alive. I watch it and I refuse to believe that she died. There's a huge Mexican horror community, which is cool because then they get to see themselves, you know? That feeling, I feel like people don't understand, and guys here are so cool. You know, they took a chance and I feel really, really lucky, and it also was very, very smart of them. Matt and Tyler, the way that they operate sets, I think that people tend to like them a lot because they're pretty chill and they know what they want, and they don't make things more complicated than they need to be.
Moving the core four from Woodsboro to New York feels very of the moment and of their generation. Like, I don't know that many young people who want to stay in their small town. And putting them in New York gives them more opportunities, obviously, to be slashed and murdered, but also gives them more opportunity to expand their friend group and have more friends and have more diversity in their circle and be exposed to more ideas and thoughts, which I think lends itself to Ghostface being so much more brutal, because Ghostface is also exposed to more ideas and more ways of murdering, slicing and dicing. I just love these people so much, and I would do anything to work with them every day for the rest of my life. Seriously, it's my favorite cast ever, my favorite crew ever. And I just love all the time that we've had to just go on walks together, ride bikes, and just enjoy a summer together in Montreal. It's a beautiful city. I fell in love with the city. And I want to live here forever with all of them.
I mean, what's not to dig about a horror movie, you know? You gotta shoot a couple of these in your lifetime. Running around, running through subway stations, running away from killers and getting to fight and getting to throw hands. And no, what attracted me about this, I didn't even read the script before I auditioned for this. I don't think any of us were allowed to. They were all secretive about it. But no, you knew the franchise and you knew what you were jumping into. I have so much pride in shooting in New York, you know, the fact that we're repping New York City, we're shooting in the subway. Like, I just love the idea of Ghostface running through New York, you know? Like, oh, boy, that'd be scary as hell, that man running around. New York City's a perfect scenario, it's a perfect setting for this, for Scream 6. It's like all those crevices, all those nooks and crannies, all those dark spots in the city.
The starting point for each of these characters, and all the returning actors, Melissa and Jenna and Mason and Jasmine, are incredible in terms of that. And they have a whole movie's worth of character that they build on in this one. So it's amazing to be a part of that. The directors, Matt and Tyler, really brought, you know, why that works so well is because they brought even more truth of character to the roles. Well, I'll add to that in the way that these directors are bringing more, you know, more interesting emotional life to these characters. So, yeah, obviously, so it means more when they're attacked or in trouble or brutally hacked up into bits, whichever scene you're referring to.
Well, I'm a New Yorker, so I loved that part. But it also brings it's one thing to be in a small town, which has its own sense of creepiness and, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. But then when you're in a big city, there's a completely different version of there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. It could be anybody. The killer could be anybody. I mean, it could be you, it could be the person you're standing next to, and it brings, about the opportunity for shock, surprise. I mean, you just really don't know what you're gonna see. I've never been directed by two directors, but their transition between the two of them is so smooth. They know how to work together so well, and they've just brought us along for the ride.
I loved it from the second I read it. First of all, I was just so happy that I survived Scream 5. The writers are incredible, and it's so scary, and I was so excited that Gale Weathers was back in it. She's evolved so much since the very beginning. Gale was very aggressive and only out for herself, and then you see a softer side of her around Scream 3, and then this particular one, I think she got a bit of her edge back, which was nice. She is relentless. She won't stop, even if she promises she will. New York is a perfect place to have this movie set. Ghostface can hide amongst so many people, and yet he can see you. He's always there to see you, but you don't necessarily know where he is. And especially set around this time of, the Halloween time of year where people are in costumes. It's just genius. I think it's added so much horror to it just by the location. These films to me are so frightening and gory in a good way. It's so realistic, the way they do the special effects and the stabbings, but I think that people are gonna go nuts. It's so much fun, and to see this with an audience and the build and the excitement and the laughter. Matt and Tyler, our directors, they're huge fans of Wes. I think Wes was a huge inspiration to them just in their directing career alone. They are so hip, they're so visual, they're such great people, they're so open, and yet they know exactly what they want. Every time, that last time and then this time, they just keep elevating it, and they don't ride on their laurels of last time it was such a great film. They amped it up in every way, and the writers did, and it's just, I think they're incredible.
Said, hey, look, I really want to be a part of this. I will do anything. Send me the audition. And he's like, whoa, 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 the script's not finished yet. But when it is, I'll send it to you. And I was like, okay. So I waited like 3 months. I did the audition, got a call back, and then met the directors, who are like literally the nicest people on the planet. And it was just like a blast to just jam with them about different ways to, do the audition. Coming from a fan who loved the previous movies to work with Courtney and Hayden, not only are they legends in the Scream universe, but also just in acting in the industry, they're awesome. So it was just really like a pinch me moment to work with them. I think it's, if not more scary, to be in a place filled with people when you don't know who the killer is, I feel like that would be, in my opinion, more scary because it's full of people. You don't know, who they are. They could come out of anywhere, in your apartment, on the street, in the subway. It's like you're not safe anywhere. I was actually a huge fan of the franchise, and I was a fan of every movie, and I knew that it was like one of the first self-aware horror movie franchises, and Ghostface is an iconic killer. So, I was just jumped at the opportunity to be part of this.
New York, sometimes when you're new to a city like that, you feel alone, even though you're surrounded by millions of people. There are monsters all around you. And I think the Halloween theme that we added to this movie was also inherent of that and super fun. We were able to like play with like these iconic villains and monsters and have them surround our heroes in just everyday mundane circumstances, just as a way to show that you could be surrounded by monsters. And obviously, not everyone who moves to a city has a masked knife-wielding killer chasing them, but sometimes it could feel like that. We brought some action to it and really ramped up the intensity of what's going on within the movie. And I think that's going to make the movie more fun, make the city more prevalent, make you feel like you're in a different place and watching a different Scream, but still getting a genuine Scream movie.
The best pro and the con are the exact same thing, and it's that it's just a huge city and there's so many people. Because you look at that and you're like, okay, pro, there's a lot of people, so like, how is Ghostface gonna attack me if I'm in front of all these people, if it's crowded, we're on a subway or wherever. But then also, that's the biggest con as well. That was another one where all of us were together, which is just like my favorite thing, because first of all, the cast is like incredible. We're all so very close. And so that was fun. And also just hearing it from Mindy, who is related to Randy, who literally starts the whole rules of a franchise. It was just, and Jasmine killed it. There was like a 4-page monologue that this queen did, and she did it every single time. And we were all just like chilling, having a great, nice day. And she was like, doing all the work for us. So it was great. They are two of the most incredible people I've ever met. Oh my gosh, they're so great. They're so supportive. They are just incredible people, let alone directors. And I've never worked with 2 directors before, and I wasn't really sure how it was gonna go. And they work so well together. They are the kindest humans I've ever met, and I cannot imagine doing this with anybody else.